Good morning, brothers and sisters. Here for a video. Don't know how long it's going to be. Anyway, we're going to look at a couple of topics, I think. I got a mess here on my desk. Forgive me, I just decided to do it, and I was looking at some stuff. And we're going to look at, it's going to be found in Job 38. It's funny, you know, as you follow out these lines, the Lord will lead you through amazing revelation. It's amazing, which is actually where I begin. Okay, so let's not begin in Job. Let's begin in Daniel 2:2. We already looked at this it was in a full-out video. Daniel 2:22. She, not he. She reveals deep and hidden things. That's the Holy Spirit that does that. She knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with her. This is the God who is the revealer of truth. And when Daniel is able to break down the king's dreams for him, where is the other passage? It's 247, I believe. Of course, I don't have it pulled up here. It is 247, and they're not even giving it in the references here. So I got it marked out in my Bible right here. Let me see here. Daniel. It is Daniel 2, and I'm sure it was 47. There's 3 passages that speaks of God as the revealer, and they all hit in Daniel. Now, the interesting thing about Daniel, this word in Daniel, revealer, it is in 47, Daniel 2:47. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth, it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings and a revealer. That's 1541. It says 1541. A revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldest reveal this secret. And there's also another verse here. 22, this is the one we have up. She revealeth the deep and secret things. She knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with her. We see Virgo wrapped in light. Virgo. But we also know she has to become the huntress. We do. And this is the strange topic we're going to look at. Again, the reason why this became so relevant to me is because years ago, and I have it wrote down in one of my books, and I intend on seeking those books out at some point today. I have 3 purple books that I took a lot of wonderful notes in. And at that time, my dreaming or revelations was coming through more so than they have of late. I've had no dreams. I don't even remember dreaming. But at that time, which was several years back, I was having a fair number, for me, of revelations or dreams that I felt come from the Lord. And one morning as I was waking out of this deep sleep, I did see written in the air these 2 phrases. And one said, the cost of your house is the price of the dying. And I did a video at the time and said this was what I had seen. I didn't do it on these 2 phrases, but I spoke on them and said I had seen them. So the first one was, the cost of your house is the price of the dying. The second one was, I thought at the time, God is a great reveler. That's what I thought it said. And over time I come to realize, because God kept running me in this direction, that I had actually seen God is a great revealer. And those are the 2 phrases that I seen, you know, in the air. And God had eventually, over time, took me to Daniel and showed me that God here is the great revealer, right? The interesting thing about this word revealer, when you look into it, right? Let's look into it. Sorry. Hidden. So, was that the word? Secret things. The hidden things. Secret things. To hide. Right? The hidden things that are hidden. To conceal. So if we hit on its derivative, to hide and to conceal. Now, I don't know if I've even got the right word here. Hidden. God speaks of her hidden ones, that she has hidden for the end days, preserved. Conceal. By covering. By covering, right? So it's a covering up. To hide, to conceal that. Now that wasn't exactly where I want it, I don't think. Let's see, reveal, 1541. We'll look them up. To reveal a thing. Right? Corresponding. To reveal. Bring over. Carry away. Reveal. Let's hit on its corresponding to gala, it says. So we'll hit on that word. To uncover. Look at that. To uncover. Why is that important? Let me see if I can get there. Because it takes us to this word, the revelation, it says, of Jesus Christ. No, the revelation of the Holy One. That ain't an idol. Unveiling. 602. Uncovering. So what's the chances that this God, Mar, which will link you, despite all the evidence that they want to go against this fact, that Mar is a word for bitterness. This bitter Lord, right? And that's the name, that your God. That's why this is important for, if you never watched my video 2 or 3 backs there, 2 or 3 videos back, that Mar is that Lord in Daniel here that is spoken of. And it's only, I believe it's only used 4 times in scriptures of this bitter Lord, who is a revealer of secrets. Now we have Daniel here being the revealer of the secrets, okay? But if you go here, this is an interesting fact that should have been included. And I put the link to it. Oh, now it won't give it to me. Where is it? It is. We're going to Genesis 41:45. And this is relevant. It all ties in. We've talked about the birthright holder being Joseph, which is feminine, not masculine. So Genesis 41:45, Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zaphanath Paneah, and gave him Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, to be his wife. And Joseph went throughout the land of Egypt. Now I've argued that this is feminine. The birthright holder was feminine. And the interesting thing about this name is it means a revealer. If you go to Wikipedia for this name, they go on and on how it means the man to whom hidden things are revealed. No, I don't think it's a man. I think it's a woman this time. The woman who revealeth mysteries, a finder of mystery. And when we go to the middle mark of Revelation, the 3.5-year mark of the and it says the mystery that gets revealed. It is the final mystery that is sounded at the 7th trumpet, which is in correlation with the angel standing with her birthright back. The finder of mystery, she who deciphered the hidden. These are meanings of this name that Joseph was given. And it's important because you understand he's in the land of Egypt. Now God accuses Pharaoh of muddying her waters. All right? So keep that in mind. So now God is the great revealer. We've looked at this already in another video. But we're going to look at Orion. And we're going to go to Job 38:31 because I think we can loose the bands of Orion. And this is the verse that I was looking at. We already broke down 32 for anybody who's been paying attention. Job 38:31 says this. Okay. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Or can you loosen Orion's belt? Can you bring forth a constellation in their seasons or lead out the bear and her cubs? No. What we found, what they call the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, or the Big Bear, the Little Bear, really in ancient times was known as the she-goat. And even the stars at the feet is called the leaps of the gazelle. Well, we know what a gazelle is. The 3 leaps of the gazelle. Well, we identified the she-goat in the scriptures. That's what we identified. Also known as the covenant of the lilies, right? We get all that in this flock of she-goats. And this is what we've looked and examined at thoroughly on this channel. So really what we were seeing here, can you lead out the the she-goat with her inheritance is what you were looking at. So here we also get, can you loosen Orion's belt? Now, they'll want to tell you Orion's male, but in the ancient world, they knew it as a female. The Orion star, the Orion constellation of this great archer. And in the beginning, from what I understand, I cannot find it. They've removed this particular link. I cannot locate it again. They said she had this long string of stars that represented her hair in the ancient days, this great archer, Orion. And over time, those stars have separated. Well, that would be the separating of her glory from her, is what they did. They took her glory from her. But I did manage to locate this one. It says, the ancient Arab astronomers saw something very differently in the sky. Where we see Orion, and Gemini, they saw a mighty female warrior. Her name was Al-Jwaza, meaning the central one. She may have been associated with the goddess Al-Azza, the mightiest one. The name of the bright orange star in Orion's shoulder, Betelgeuse, hints at Orion's alternate depiction. It comes from the word Yad al-Jwaza, I don't know that I'm saying those right, either hand of the central one or the armpit of the central one. So we know who the hand of God was identified as, the daughters of Israel. All right? Now, in another part here, we get this particular piece of information on Orion. It says Orion is often shown as facing the charge of a bull. Yet there are no myths in Greek mythology telling any such tales. No, maybe not in Greek mythology, but it's in the Bible. She says, the bulls of Bashan surround me. And so let's go back to Job and see what it's really saying here. Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Well, Pleiades is the 7 stars inside, supposedly, the constellation of Taurus, the bull that's actually facing her. Well, we know that they changed all of these meanings over to animals, the allegory of Israel, but she was represented by a heifer in the beginning, before the idol of Jesus come in. We get the sacrifice of a bull, which we identified as coming straight out of Egypt. Egypt again. Why is that important? Right? Can you loosen Orion's belt? What 3 things on earth are said to be directly linked to the belt of Orion? What 3 things? Well, if we go to Wikipedia, I think it's going to tell us. It says, it posits that there is a correlation between the location of the 3 largest pyramids of the Giza Pyramid Complex and the Orion belt of the constellation Orion, and that this correlation was intended as such by the original builders of the Giza Pyramid Complex. Right. They're directly linked to her belt. So who's binding Orion? You know what we see in this little video, and I'll post all of these links so you can maybe reason it out for yourself. In your little movie, I, Pet Goat 2, when you see Jesus and you know, thorn comes off his head, and he's standing there looking at it, and you see the 3 pyramids being destroyed from the heavenlies. You know what that is? That's the loosening of Orion's belt. And you know what binding here means? Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Now, she got shifted over to a bull, representation of Jesus, right, out of Egypt, is what we found. Right, which is why it says the witnesses die in Sodom and Egypt. No, they did long ago, but they ain't this time. Because it was the religion out of Egypt that bound her. That's what bound her, right? And so they bound her, and we saw the symbolism of what bow means, what arrow means. A bow means your covenant. Well, we saw her being shot at by the archers. Her husband, right, was the word there in Genesis 49, for anybody who's been with us. But what does it go on to say? It says, yet her bow remains strong. if it's there. The archers have sorely grieved her and shot at her and hated her, but her bow abode in strength, and the arms of her hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of, not Jacob, Israel. He stole her birthright, remember? From thence is the shepherdess, the stone of Israel, the stone that you denied, who gave life to you and formed you and pushed you out in childbirth. That's what it says. You denied her. You forgot your God, your rock, that gave life to you. And this all links us. So when it says, can you bind the chains of Pleiades? When you go in, can you link them together? Right? Is your understanding. Can you link them together? Can you bind them together? Yes, we can. Because once the daughters realize, right, realizes that the heifer is a representation of the nation of Israel, feminine. Nations are always represented by the feminine. But Israel was unique again in that it truly represented the woman's seed, the daughters. All right? So what we saw Solomon doing to the portion in the midst of the heifer of Israel was changing it over from a righteous spirit over to a harlot spirit that would bow to man as God, and then eventually they completely got removed and they put in their place 7 kings. You see? So God says, can you bind them together? So what's really being done here is a twofold look. They turn, she gets back her inheritance. The daughters of Israel begins to turn back to the Holy One, right? And they're considered her scepter on earth, her inheritance on earth. They turn back to her and they turn against the 7 wicked kings of the world. That's what they do. Or of the heavens, which we see going on in the end of days. So, can you bind the chains of Pleiades? Let's look that word up. Oh, my computer's doing something weird now. It won't give me my menu. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah. Okay, now let's backtrack. Let's see if I can do it. Now we can. Bind. Let's look up the word bind. 7194. This is in Job 38. To bind, league together. Can you conspire together? This is going to take us to the insurgents. That is given a word there in the New Testament. When it says, I forget how it says it. See, I'm in a hurry, so now I'm not thinking straight. But bind up, make a conspiracy, join together, knit together, work. Treason, not treason. You go for the truth, you turn on the lies, what you do. So, can you bind, knit them together? We're talking about knitting back the behemoth in a fashion. To go against the Leviathan that's ruling in the heavens right now, the dragon. It's all there. And if you go to iPetGo, you will see the destruction of those 3 pyramids at the end. Now, the little girl dressed in white is symbology of Israel. Most don't see this when they watch it. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. But they've got her sitting on the floor and they've got her holding an apple. And behind her are the 12 tribes of Israel. It's interesting, 2's in front of the wire, and the other 10 are still trapped behind it. Well, the 10 was symbolic of the feminine, it is, and also the 10 strands of the energy DNA, where our power, our true power rules. Well, they've bound us. They've bound our power. We see that in symbology of Orion, the huntress, and her glory being ripped away, and she's bound by the religion that came out of Egypt. They have bound her with them 3 pyramids. And we see them being shattered in iPetGo. We do. But the little virgin girl, she's dressed in white. That's why I call her a virgin girl. She's sitting there with an apple. And it shows her actually giving birth to the new seed is what it's showing you, right? And it breaks open. And you could say, no, it's not. But then we go to this little yellow figure with an egg head. Yeah, that's the woman's seed. And she's being tormented by what? The Assyrian. That's what that's an image of in this TV screen. It's the Assyrian, but it's also the devil, Adam, the false accuser, in the beginning when he accuses his sister. And it makes God angry to think that her daughters are bowing to an idol instead of to her law and her truth. And this is what causes God to separate from us and allows this to take place. It's also a form of testing. Now, I had something else pulled up here. And I'm not explaining it all very well. And even the 3 stars in her belt was called the 3 Marys in ancient days in some of these postings here. Now, I can't find the original one that I wanted. But Orion is often shown facing the charge of a bull. And it became a bull that she had to face, that we have to face, which is this man-made religious lie of man as your Lord and God. Jesus is the idol standing from Daniel 2. We see the revealer, the God that is revealing hidden things there. And it does so link you to the word Mara, the bitterness. And we saw in Zechariah, I believe it is 1 or 2, we see these horsemen, no horsewomen, standing in the valley, in the low places of the world. That's where God begins, in the low places of the world, to where her daughters have been hidden and actually vanquished too, but they're there for a reason. And they're standing in the low places. And they're standing amongst the myrtle trees. That's right, bitterness. It links us back to bitterness. And so it's all connected. It's getting more and more connected. Now, I'm not very thorough on this, but it all does take us back to Joseph's name. And here, if you hit on it, it's got he. Of course, everything's a he. When they took her glory away from her and bound her to this religious lie in Egypt that came out of Egypt, we see it all. And only when she can harness the power, make the daughters realize that it's them that's in bondage to this religious lie and law, do they actually go into battle as it says the Michael, and his angels. No, it's she, the daughter of Israel, with her inheritance of her daughters and her sons, yes, going into battle against Leviathan. Satan the accuser, he's going to be cast down. And it says it all. 6847 is the name they gave the Pharaoh gave Joseph, supposedly. The God speaks and he lives. He lives. Yeah. But then I like Wikipedia's understanding. Where is it? Right back here. And I'll post it. I'm sure most can find it, but it's there. And it goes on, and it links straight back to the revealer of truth, to your bitter Lord Mar. It's a female lord, just like I said, and it's actually shown in a multitude of ways that got changed over when the men took the women in bondage under this religious lie and law. All the heavenly story got rewrote to he, right? The expander of secrets is another meaning. A revealer of secrets, and the man to whom secrets are revealed. No, the woman to whom the secrets are revealed. In his work on Genesis and in the Vulgate, Jerome gives as the Latin translation Salvator Mundi, Savior of the world. That's the Holy One. That's the daughters of Israel, known as the woman's seed. And they changed that meaning over to a bull with a sevenfold spirit that became the portion in the midst that we see Solomon changing over to harlot spirit. And then over time, they take possession of it. And that becomes the abomination of desolation. A man inside of a man shall have no children. It says, yet more are the children of the desolate than of she who has a husband. Well, she who has a husband was Baal, the harlot spirit, saying, oh, you're the king, you're the God, you're the ruler, you do what you want, bowing to him. And so that's why you get the abomination of desolation. They will no longer hearken to the spirit of her covenant. And so they began to gnash upon her, tear her down. We see them gnashing, surrounding her. We get the daughters being slain in Jeremiah 9. Watch this. And it means pierced. I'll just do this right quick before I go. 9, where's 9? Parallel. chapters. And what does Jeremiah say? What does he say here? He says, "Oh, that my head were waters, and mine eyes a fountain of tears, that I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people." Let's look up the word slain right quick. I'm sorry I didn't do a better job of that, but it's often best if I, put a quick video down. I've already got the video made for Wisdom. I ain't posting that till April 11th. I made it on March 20th. I've just been waiting for April 11th because that comes up on the Hebrew calendar as the beginning year, the day that I started, which would have been Nisan 20, which was April 5th in 2018. So I want it to just go for 5 years. 2491 is the word slain. For the slain, it means pierced. The bulls of Bashan circle me and pierce me. They were ripping her apart. The behemoth apart, the bones. She says, our bones lay scattered at the gates of Sheol. Sheol. These were the behemoth, the woman's seed, the daughters inside the nation of Israel, whom the men turned on. That's right. They were turning on her. So there's our connection to our verse in Job. Can you release? Where is it? See, I've got a word up in its place. But it takes us to Isaiah 42. It does. I have long time held my peace. I have been still, and I have restrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy, and I will devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills, and I will dry up all the herbs, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. They're trying to stop her from being born. That's what they're trying to do. And you saw it in that foolish Marvel movie, The Eternals. And at the end they show, what was the god's name? Tiamat? The god, they stopped him from being, the giantess is what they're trying to stop from being freed and reborn. That's right. She's held. She's bound by a religious lie and law that came out of Egypt. And we see it being broken, finally. The bonds that are binding her, the laws of a religious lie and law in I Pet Goat 2. So I'll post all of these passages and links so you can get into it yourself deeper. And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trusted in your male gods, your male images, your graven images that say to the molten images, you are our gods. Be ashamed of that. You're bowing to an idol. You're bowing to your husband. And you're tickling his ears. And he's got honey on his tongue, but it's wormwood in his stomach, which I actually look at in the video that I made on wisdom. Like I said, it's all made. It's been all done. So I'll post these links. We know that the constellation of Orion is connected to the pyramids according to the Orion correlation theory. You'll find Wikipedia. Then we have some other facts on Orion I will post. We have Joseph's name linked to the revealer of truths, which the God who is the revealer of truths or revealer of hidden things, which links us to what is uncovered as a great mystery in Revelations at the 3.5-year mark when the 7th trumpet sounds. That's right, we've got her standing on heaven and earth, taking her birthright back. It's all lining up. It's amazing. And it means to uncover. That's right, it means to uncover. And this Lord is only shown 4 times ever. And that's in the book of Daniel, and it's in correlation or connection to that idol standing as your Lord and God that Nebuchadnezzar dreams of. And I did have another passage here pulled up, but I can't remember. I should have wrote it down. Anyway, that's the video. So I'm going to go. I thank you for watching. I pray you all have a beautiful day. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day here. It's a little bit on the chilly side, but I think it's probably going to warm up. Pray the Lord blesses you with an abundance of truth, and I hope y'all have a really, really nice day, and thanks for watching.